Alright guys, welcome to our very first game of the season between the Puddings and the Puffs. So starting off in the defensive team, we have Team Puff with Gio, Kunai, Para, Oro, and Mr. Shady Man, aka Bio. And starting on attack, we have Team Pudding with Doggo, Benny, Kudon, Sticky Joe, and Nuka, aka You Are Boring. He is using his ult today, a very interesting name, but we are going to be referring to him as Nuka. Now, as you can see, both teams will not have their captains playing. Puff was unfortunately sitting out because of internet issues, but Toby is sitting out strategically for her team. So this is the two lineups that we are going to start our very first game of the CVL Season 1 with. Now, if you guys have no idea what this is, we're basically playing a custom game in a more organized format through a league known as the Croissant Valorant League or the CVL. Now, if you guys are interested in playing with us, make sure you guys sign up on our Discord or on our Twitch. And if you guys want to just play customs for fun, we do play customs almost every stream on twitch.tv/Croissant. So yeah, that's the only shout out that we're gonna do. Without further ado, we are going to get started in the game. Now, this is going to be Team Puff's home map, and so they decided to choose Ascent after Icebox and Split was banned by Team Pudding. And they are going to be starting out on defense. Team Pudding did choose to start on the attack, and starting off they are going to be attacking the mid push, it looks like, although they do have some inkling to push B as well. But after that quick kill in the middle there, they decided to just push mid really aggressively. They did get traded out by one. Gio managed to get one on Nick, and looks like Kunai is going to be on the flank encountering Nuka there, but it looks like nothing is going to come out of that. But right now it's just down to Nuka as the rest of his team got killed there. So right now, You Are Boring, aka Nuka, is alone on his own, and unfortunately he could not do anything there. So that's a very good start for Team Puff on their defense. Despite that early mid push, it looks like they felt pretty comfortable holding that after losing one. Now, one thing that I do like about Team Puff, and one adjustment that we have seen since the last time they played on stream, is how patient they are being. Now, of course, this lineup was just formed not too long ago. Gio just joined the team shortly before our season started, and it looks like he brings more than just an offensive prowess, you know. But I like this here. Team Puff changing the pace immediately, bringing the tempo in their favor, and just pushing it out really quickly. Oh my gosh, the tandem of Gio and Kunai just pushing out A and almost reading that to perfection, managing to get the 5 kills between the two of them. So that's a very quick round, and I do love how Team Puff is mixing it up here. Now, this is definitely not something that we have seen, and looking at how Team Pudding reacted to it, it looks like they were not ready for this either. This was definitely not something that Team Puff has shown, so I like that they're bringing new strategies to the first game and waiting to show this when it's time for the real deal, instead of using some of these tactics during our regular customs or exhibition matches. Now, Team Pudding is pretty content with doing the same thing, and this time around it looks like they won't be met with heavy aggression. It looks like Gio is going to be retreating back to mid while Kunai is going to be holding garden. Now, Kunai might be encountering Nuka here, and yes, he will. Looks like both players decide to just back off. Now, Oro is holding the short angle. He's going to encounter one real soon. Oh, that blind was really clean, and Kudon managed to get one, but Kunai trades it out before Kudon's get a second one right there. So now they have control of A. That's a pretty good take. It's just right now, in the post plant, they do have the mana advantage, and they do have the utility to hold it. So this is looking good, but Geo is still alive, and so this is still far from over. Now Para is up here, and he has Heaven Control. He knows where 1 is. He's looking out for it, but it looks like Sticky Joe is not going to be peeking that one, and the re-smoke here might deter all post-plant attempts now. So it looks like, okay, Bio decided to push and gets one on Uyuf, aka Sticky Joe. He sees the other two, but it looks like he has been traded now, and Para is just going to be backing off. Now all players alive are going to be able to save their weapon, except for Nick. So overall that was a pretty close round, but I think the site take was just too decisive for Team Puff to take it back, and the post-plant smokes by Uyuf was just really nicely placed, blocking up Heaven, making it really hard for Bio to Para to push there. This normal setup that I'm seeing from Puff has been working pretty well. Although I do like the combination of Geo and Kunai, I think one thing that they might want to consider doing again is putting those two on the same bomb site, because while that will maybe weaken other bomb sites slightly, the power that they can put on the defense if they read the attack correctly can be more than enough to just stop the attack altogether. Now, one thing that we have been seeing from Team Pudding in these past few rounds is that they want to go for a slow push, and the problem with slow pushes is something like this. When you have someone as aggressive as Kunai, if you take way too long, there's no way that you know, the enemy, aka Team Puff, will be sitting still. They are going to be taking map control from you. Okay, so now Oro is going to be holding mid. Now he knows that it's going to be a mid push. This blind right here is really good from Kudans, but it looks like they are not going to push. Oro will still pull top mid. He managed to get one on Doggo. He gets another one, and Geo from the back manages to clean it up, and that was an almost flawless round by Team Puff there. And against every other team, I think Team Pudding and what they're doing is completely fine. It's just against teams like this, when they are super aggressive even on the defense, you have to be really careful with how long you take to take a bomb site. I think they have to be a lot more decisive. 2 times round they have been punished for sitting around, so it looks like now they are going to go for the safe. They do want to try to go for a full buy next round, so they are just half buying here. Their buys are not weak by any means, but it's definitely inferior to what Team Puff has. Now Oro with one nice pick, and he's just backing off. Kunai is going to be peeking this with a nice flash help. Ooh, but unfortunately he got flashed, and Kudans will be able to take him down. So now that's both jets going down. Oro manages to get one as Sticky Joe trades him out. So now it's down to a 3v3, and it looks like Team Pudding is just going to be rotating here. Bio is going to be holding mid. Soon he's going to see that there's no one there, and I wonder how long it's going to take Team Puff to realize that it's going to be a rotate. Oh, but it looks like they are changing their minds. So this is really up to Geo now, because if Geo dies here, I think it's going to be really hard for Team Puff to retake this. But Geo is going to push forward. He's going to get the information really shortly. He's going to see all 3. He gets 2 of them. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the last one. Kudan's managed to get that one, and now it's a 1v2. So it looks like Team Puff were not fooled by that at all. Yes, they did the early rotate. So Kudans is going to get mid control, but he doesn't have spike. He is going to pick that up, but with only 20 seconds left, it's going to be hard for him to rotate all the way to B. So I think he has no choice but to attack A here. Otherwise, he might just look to save, which is, yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He's not even going to attempt the bomb plant. So that's a very good round for Team Puff, despite, you know, the early trades, and they almost looked bamboozled there with the rotate, but luckily Geo managed to hold down the fort at A. And this is exactly what I mean. Geo and Kunai is definitely the deadliest duo that we have here in the league currently. These two together can, you know, pull off the craziest plays, the craziest defenses, and this is supposedly their worst round, their worst half rather.
Right there.
I'm really excited to see how they're going to do on attack. Now, Team Pudding is definitely known for their defense. If you guys have not been on stream, they are known for being a wall. That is their nickname. That is what I call them a lot. Well, unfortunately, Nuka is just absolutely bombarded there with all the utility that Geo can throw at him. And Para managed to get one on Doggo as well. Kunai with a nice op shot. He's going to be holding the angle. Now, they don't have Spike, so they cannot just fully commit here. But now it's down to a 2v5. Geo will be pushing out. Kudans manages to get one at mid on Oro, so that's a good start. Uyuf will get a gun. Ooh, but Kunai manages to catch that one off, and so now it's just all down to Kudans. Kudans is going to get the plant here, but this post plant is going to be really hard, and with 31 health, I don't know how much he can do. Okay, ooh, that timing though. He heard Bio, and Geo's just gonna come behind him. Bio's gonna peek at the right time, but unfortunately, he's gonna fall before Kudans get killed by Geo, and they manage to get the defuse afterwards, or the breaking the defuse. It's still kind of confusing here. I'm still very used to CSGO terms, and so undefusing the diffuser is what the defenders are doing essentially. Just confusing things. Or diffusing the spike, rather. I don't know. My head's still in the clouds. I'm really sorry. But you guys get what I mean. Alright, so now Team Pudding is going once again in the mid push. Ooh, but this time around Kunai is going to be peeking mid. He's gonna get a very, very uncharacteristic miss there, and Benny manages to punish that. So now they have mid control right now. Nuka is going to be leading the charge, and let's see if he's going to be able to get anything here. Okay, Oro manages to get one, gets two. Now it's just down to a 3v4. So that's a very, very good comeback. Kudans and Nuka managed to get two more though. So now it's just all down to Para. Para is going to see Kudans, going to expect Benny, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to kill Benny before Benny kills him. So that's a good comeback round, and I like that. You know, the moment they killed Kunai there, they just went super fast, super aggressive into mid, and I think that's something that they need to do a lot more. They cannot give the Team Puff the time to rotate to get them all the map control that they want. They have to be really quick, and they have to trust that they can duel the you know, the players from Team Puff, especially Geo and Kunai, because they definitely do have the talent and the ability to do it. They just need more confidence, and I think it's just the rough start that is causing them to falter a little bit, but it looks like they have been picking up their pace again. Kunai is going to be retreating backward, sees Nick. He gets two uncharacteristic miss once again. It looks like his opping has not really been on point in these last two rounds, but Oro has, managing to get two on Doggo and Kudans before being traded out. Geo manages to get one on Nick before Nuka gets one on Geo. So now it's down to a 3v2 between Uyuf and Nuka. Let's see if Kunai wants to peek this again. He did, but unfortunately this time around, he does not come out ahead. Nuka will come out ahead. Bio tries to trade one, but unfortunately he couldn't. So now it's all just down to Para. He will have to opt, but it looks like they are not interested in challenging him. They are just going to go to B instead. Now, one advantage that Para does have for him is that they have no idea where Para is. Uyuf will manage to get the plant here, and now it looks like they are just content sitting at Boathouse. I think they have a rough idea of where Para is. Now, it's going to be up to Para, and this is going to be a very, very hard retake here, especially because they're going to be expecting him. So he's going to be pushing here, and Nuka will be ready for that. So Nuka with a 3 kill with the op, and it looks like Team Pudding's Jet is turning up as well. Now this is exactly what you want to see from Nuka. Nuka was brought into this team for his fragging potential, because this team is very defense-sided, and that's not to say that they can't play attack. It's just that their attack was definitely lacking compared to the other teams. So I think Nuka brings their attacking back to a more playing field with the other teams, and he definitely helps boost the attack by a lot. As you can see here, he is second on their leaderboard. We do still expect more from him, but then again, it is still early in the game. So I don't have too much criticism for either teams yet. I think they're all playing pretty well. Now it looks like Team Pudding has been on fire in these past few rounds, and he managed to pick off Kunai once again. Doggo with another one on Oro. He sees one on Para. The question is he going to be able to get this one? Okay, Gio with a nice kill here on Kudan. He knows that Doggo's still here. Will he be able to kill Doggo? And the answer is no. Doggo with 3 nice kills. Now Bio and Para has rotated. Okay, Para got that one. Unfortunately, he could not get Uyuf. Uyuf is just playing out of his mind. Recently, even though he's a tier 3, he is not playing like a tier 3 at all. Now on the other team, we have one tier 3 left standing. It's just Bai alone. Unfortunately, he is in a safe. He's not going to be expecting Benny behind him, and I think Nick heard that. He's just going to peek here, and he's going to get the easy kill on Bio, bringing it back to a 5-4. Now, I think if Team Pudding can come out of this half at 6-6, this would definitely be a very good half for them, and I think they can feel comfortable going into the second half. Now, even though I don't think I've seen them play Split, or not Split, Ascent rather, their bind defense has been absolutely phenomenal, and that's something that I'm pretty sure they have practiced with other maps as well. So I'm really excited to see how they do on their defenses here. Okay, so they are going with a slightly faster push, getting control of A main. And it looks like they are just going to be taking the ult orb, and they are going to be backing off. Now, Kunai this time around is going to be holding the mid instead, and Oro is going to be holding the short position. Oh, unfortunately, he was not expecting Doggo, and Doggo managed to kill him without a single shot. Kunai manages to get one on Kudans though, so both breaches are down. Doggo with another one on Gio. Man, this man is popping off. Even though his kills is only 6 right now, he has been picking it up in the past 2 rounds. So I'm really liking this. Now they do have mid control. This is what they tried in the first round. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out well for them. Kunai is still alive, so this is still very scary, and this is a very nice crossfire between between Bio and Kunai. Kunai managed to get one on Benny. Bio gets one, and finally Kunai manages to close it out. And on the other side of the map, Nuka got picked from Para. So overall, Team Puff managed to bring that 3-4 disadvantage back to a 3-0 lead and a 6-4 lead in the scoreline. It's very, very well played, and I think the mid pushes have not been working out too well for Team Pudding. They have tried pushing 2 times now this game, and both times it has just not worked well. And one thing that I like about Team Puff, despite how aggressive they've been, they know when to give up sight or map control, and they know when to take it back. Like for example, they know that there's no way for them to get control again of mid. So instead of trying to contest mid, they decided to just back out and hold site instead, setting up a nice cross line. Oh, now this pinch right here will catch Kunai off guard, but Oro is at a phenomenal position, and they are not going to be expecting this. Oro's going to be pushing out. He gets 1, he gets 2 on the diffuser. Unfortunately, he will be traded by Kudans. So now it's down to Gio. Okay, Gio manages to get Kudans. Bio gets 1 on Nuka. Man, and now it's all just down to Benny, and Nick is supposed to get that one, but Gio with a very, very nice flick, managing to clutch that round out for his team. Man, a lot of these rounds have been really close, have been really back and forth, but it looks like Team Puff is just able to clutch it out. And I don't think Team Pudding is doing anything wrong per se. It's just that they have just been unlucky in these gunfights, and yeah, it just hasn't gone in their favor. Now we just have to hope that they do pick it up next round. I don't think they have to make too many changes or any changes at all to their strategy. I think what they're doing is working. It's just they have to figure out how to beat Geo and Kunai. Now, it's not even just Geo and Kunai. Oro has been performing really well as well, as you can see from the scoreboard. And I think his utility usage, particularly his blinds, has been pretty effective at holding mid. That being said, he is going to go on the short position. And it looks like Doggo is going to be here on distraction duty. No, it looks like he's just going to go back to his team. Now, they are going to be making sounds, so Para and Oro will be ready for this. That's 2, 3 nice blinds. Oh my gosh, blinds all around. No one can see anything. But Oro is just going to back off here. Now, this is a very good ult from Kudans, and they are just going to be pushing through. Kudans with, or Oro with the counter ult there. Both teams ulting, but it looks like Team Puff is gonna come out ahead. Now it's just all down to Uyuf. Unfortunately, Uyuf cannot get it, and Para holds down the fort in A with 3 kills there, bringing a half line score of 8-4. So I'm really impressed with what Team Puff is able to do, even without their team captains. I think they have practiced with this comp before, or at least they have developed a general strategy for Ascents. And this is definitely something that, again, we have not seen from Team Puff before. I'm really glad to see that, you know, they're not just relying on their 2-star players, even though their 2-star players is still, you know, performing really well. So it looks like there's some depth to this team, and this is exactly what I like to see, you know, because I think this is the thing that makes the difference between you know, a solo queue, just a rank play, to an actual team play. And so far, I'm really impressed with what the team's able to do. Ooh, Doggo with 1 nice kill with a 2-tap headshot. He sees where the other 2 are. Unfortunately, he ran off bullet there. He's going to push forward. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay out. And Kudans managed to get 1. Geo gets 1 on Doggo. Kudans manages to get 1 on Geo as well though, so now it's down to a 2v4. He sees Para. He's gonna be able to get Para. Now, is he going to be expecting Bio in this corner here? Nuka is not, but Kudans manages to trade it out, getting 4 kills at the start of this round, and that's exactly what Team Pudding needs there. Kudans, man, performing really well this game, and it looks like he is top fragging here. Now, of course, I do want to see more from Nuka this half, because as a fragger, I feel like he hasn't really been performing too well. And on the other side, I think Para is also a much better player than his scoreline is showing right now. But, you know, being a utility player, of course, kills are not everything. This is a very interesting setup here. So they decided to stack everyone on A. I'm not sure if this is just a very risky gamble, or they have done their homework and they know that Team Puff likes to attack on the A site. So this is definitely paying off really well for them. Nuka is going to be pushing out, but he is going to be encountering Kunai. Is he going to be expecting this? And the answer is yes. He's going to be able to kill Kunai there. He's going to see all the mid push, so he is going to just back off. Doggo manages to get 1, gets 2, gets 3. And now it's just down to the last person. Geo couldn't get anything, and so now it's an 8-6 Team Pudding sorry, brings the scoreline up to 8-6. And this is going to be their first real test this half, because Team Puff will be able to get the full buy here. Well, almost the full buy. Geo will have to be content with half shield, but everyone else will have Vandal or Phantom. Now, on the other side, it looks like Team Pudding is just going to be you know, happy sitting with the guns that they have kept from last game, or from last round rather. Now Team Puff is going for the mid push. They are going to be encountering Sticky Joe here with the Bucky. This is gonna be really scary. Okay, so now they see him, they know that he has the Bucky, and unfortunately he couldn't get anything. Oro manages to get that one, but Doggo gets one on Kunai, and that's a very good pick. Now Benny is here in Wine. Let's see when he's going to peek. The timing really matters here. Okay, so he's going to let the spike plant, and it looks like he's just going to be waiting for his team. Oro manages to get one, and Geo gets one on Nick. Unfortunately, Nick's flank did not really do anything here. Okay, but Doggo and Kudan's doing lots of work here. Para with the flank, he has to pick up the pace though because the fuse is coming. He doesn't know that it's a fake, but they heard where he's coming from. Doggo manages to get a very clean headshot on Para, and so ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going for the long run here because it is currently 8-7. I think Team Puff will have to save again this round. Yeah, they are completely broke. So this will almost guarantee the 8-8 unless something really, really bad happens. But I don't think Team Pudding is the type of team to throw. So I think they should be able to secure this 8th round, or the 16th round rather, bringing the scoreline back to 8-8. Now, one thing that I want to see more teams do is go for a faster push, and because you're going to have the disadvantage in terms of firepower, right? So you just want to overwhelm the opponent with numbers, especially when you're on attack. This is a lot easier to do because you know, the most you're going to encounter is maybe 3 players. So if you can just trade you know, 1-for-1 or even 1-for-2, at least you secure yourself the bomb site and you get the plant. And then after that, even if you fail the post plant, having the plant down and managing to kill some of the enemy team is definitely, you know, acceptable for a save round. But that being said, they do decide to go for a slower push, and this is good because Team Puff is not alarming Team Pudding, and Team Pudding decides to just stick with their position. They decided not to rotate here, so Team Puff is going to be setting up for the execute here. I think they are just waiting for the smoke to come down, and this is a very, very patient play, something that I don't really see a lot from Team Puff. Okay, Sticky Joe manages to get one, but Para and Kunai, just like that, manages to take the site really, really cleanly, and this is what I love to see. But you know, if you're a fan of Team Pudding, or if you're a part of Team Pudding, this is definitely a nightmare right here, because this is not what you want to see. The last thing you want to do is lose an eco round to a team like this, because if you lose eco rounds to teams like this, they are not going to give you anything in return. Alright, Doggo manages to get one, gets two, Para gets one on Kudans, gets another one on Nuka, so now it's just down to a 1v1. He will be able to blind Doggo. Doggo's not going to peek. Oh, he was so close, but Doggo manages to close it out. Okay, so crisis averted, barely. They do only have 1 player alive though. So that's definitely not something that Team Pudding can be too happy about. Of course, they can, you know, let out a sigh. At least they didn't throw that round, but they definitely have to pick it up there, because that was a safe round. So now both teams will be back to a full buy once again, but both teams' economy is very, very brittle right now, which means that whichever team loses this round is most probably gonna have to go on an eco. And as we're approaching towards the end of the map, you know, going for eco rounds, losing rounds now is going to definitely cost the teams a little bit more. So now Doggo will push through mid. Oh, Kunai will not be expecting that, and that's such a good play from Doggo. Meanwhile, Oro manages to get one on Kudans, but Geo manages to get taken out. Oro gets 2 though. Okay, so now it's down to a 3v3. Para is going to be on the flank here, and the enemy team will not be ready for this, although they are going to look for it. Ooh, Para with one nice flick. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the second one on Sticky Joe. And so now it's down to a 2v2 once again. Oh, okay. Now, it looks like Team Pudding is expecting the A push, but this is a very smart movement here by Team Puff going for the B site. After shooting that tripwire down, they definitely do know that this is going to be a B play. The question is, will they be able to retake the bomb site? Now, I think Team Puff so far has been doing pretty well with their post plant, and I think having someone like Killjoy definitely helps a lot in the post plant, buying time for the enemy team, for Team Puff. Now the question is, does Team Pudding want to challenge this, or are they just going to be backing out? Oh, unfortunately this detain is going to cost them some time, even if they don't get any kills. Okay, so Oro got a little bit too greedy there, and Benny manages to punish that off. Question is he going to be able to find Bio in time? Now this smoke actually helps Bio, I think, because this buys time, and they definitely will have to peek it. Okay, so they're not gonna have time. Bio manages to get one here, and everyone is going to die, but it looks like Team Puff will come out on top. So now in terms of economy, I think we're definitely going to have to favor Team Pudding here, despite their loss, because their economy was slightly better, so they will still be able to buy full. Well, at least most of them, besides Sticky Joe. But on the other side, the economy is not looking great either. It looks like Kunai is deciding whether or not he wants to buy the op here, which is very, very risky. He is just waiting for it. I don't know if he's going to go for a save round here. This would be a very safe round. I think the only explanation to this would be that he has his ult, and it looks like he is deciding to use his ult here. Ooh, that's a very unfortunate miss, but luckily Geo manages to pick up the slack, getting 2 kills there. Now he is not going to pick cooldowns, but that's because cooldowns has been traded out by Oro, so that's a very good bomb take right there. Now it's gonna be up to Nuka and Doggo to retake this. He's going to see Bio, okay, but the question is, can he get Oro? And the answer is no. Doggo manages to get a 1 on Oro, finally shutting him down, but now it's down to a 2v1 between Geo and Para against Doggo. Doggo will be able to see Geo, but unfortunately Geo will be able to close that one out, bringing it to a 10-8 scoreline. And now Team Pudding's window is definitely closing real soon, and last round they had a pretty comfortable buy, but now they gotta be sweating, because not only do they have they don't have enough money for a full buy. If they were to lose this round, their economy is basically shattered for almost the rest of the game, unless they can, you know, stretch it out and string some rounds here. But definitely, if you are a fan of Team Puff, you definitely want to see this. I think almost all of their players are stepping up and doing their jobs, and in fact I would say all of them are stepping up. Okay, Nuka manages to get one, but not before Oro kills Kudans, and Kunai manages to trade that one. So overall, I'm not sure if that was really worth from Nuka. Getting 1 kill there as a defender and being traded out immediately is definitely not worth, and now Uyuf dying there was definitely not what Team Pudding needed, because now it's a 2v4 retake, and yes, Doggo is still alive. Nick can perform at any given time, but now with Nick down, I think this is just a little bit too much, even for someone like Doggo to do. Doggo will just be saving here. He will have the Spectre, which is not a lot. Let's see if he's going to be hunting. He's not going to see Kunai. Kunai will be hearing this. Okay, he gets Para at least, but Kunai manages to close it out on Doggo, bringing it to an 11-8. And now the economy for Team Pudding is not looking great at all. Doggo will not be able to buy. The question is, does anyone want to buy for Doggo? Let's see. Will we have any selfless acts here? Now, Sticky Joe, of course, can buy for Doggo, but it looks like Doggo will be buying for his for himself. Sticky Joe is going to so they're going for this weird half buy force kind of thing. To be honest, I don't really know what to call it, because after this round, if they were to lose, they will once again be in this awkward half buy. So, you know, if this was, I don't know, like 8-8, I definitely wouldn't be liking this, but I understand right now they don't have a lot of choice. They don't have a lot of rounds to give up. Now, this is one good pick make it 2 from Nuka. Nuka is just going to back off here. Oro manages to get one on Nick, and they are hunting for Nuka right now, but it looks like Nuka is just content with just backing off and putting pressure. He is going to get a third one. Doggo gets another one, and Sticky Joe gets one on Geo, finally bringing it back to an 11-9. Now that's definitely a very good round, but Team Puff will still have enough money to buy here, and Kunai is going to go back on the op. So Team Pudding must win this one and break Team Puff's economy if they want to bring the scoreline back. Now, from the way things are going, I can definitely picture overtime happening here, and that's definitely what I want to see for game 1 from these two very talented teams. Okay, so Team Puff is going to go for the fast B push, but with Oro or Kudans rather, blinding them to oblivion. I think it's going to take a while. Kudans with one nice shot on Geo. Is he going to expect the other one? Yes. Is he gonna be able to pick Kunai off? Unfortunately not. Kunai has not really been doing well with the op recently. He is going to find one mid. Alright, so he gets one on Sticky Joe. Is he going to expect Doggo? I think he barely saw Doggo there, but it looks like they are just going to be backing off. Kudans is not going to let that happen. He expects Para to be close. Kunai manages to get that one though, stopping the push. Para gets another one on Benny. The question is, does Doggo want to peek here? And the answer is no. So what was once a 4v2 lead, they brought it back to a 2v1 advantage. Man, I feel like Team Pudding got way too greedy there and way too impatient because they were on defense and they had the man advantage. I don't see why they had to push here. And now Para will use his ult and he will be able to get sight. Oh, but it looks like he decides to cancel, and he is, you know, playing Nuka really well. And I think Nuka thinks that it's going to be an A push. He is going to be pushing here. I still think that he doesn't know what's going on. So he is just going to keep his mid control. He does hear some fire gunshots at B. So it looks like soon enough he's going to know that it's going to be a B bomb plant here. He does have his ult. The question is, does he want to use it? Para is going to be holding garage, and I think he has a rough idea of where Nuka could be coming from. Okay, let's see if Para's going to be ready for this, and the answer is yes. He manages to get Nuka out there, bringing the scoreline to 12-9. So now Team Pudding has to go perfect if they are going to be able to, if they want to come back into this. But looking at how Team Puff is doing right now, this is going to be a very hard task, considering they don't have great money either, and I think they won't have a full buy for the rest of the game. But, you know, if there's one thing that I've learned from Team Pudding is that you can never underestimate them because they can pick it up at any given time. Kunai will be picking here. Let's see if Doggo is going to push this out. Oh, and the answer is yes, but he couldn't get Doggo there. That was once again a very uncharacteristic miss, and I think he was just not expecting it. Doggo manages to get the op there, I believe. Or maybe not, but he picks up his smoke. He gets one on Para, and meanwhile it's a massacre on A sites. I'm sorry you guys missed it there, but I was just really focused on what Doggo is doing, and that flank definitely played out really well. That aggressive push from Doggo was definitely a, you know, really big risk, but that was one that he chose to take, because if Kunai stayed alive there and they still had the op, I think the A push would have been a lot cleaner. But instead, Team Pudding manages to close that one out, giving themselves another life in this game. It is definitely not over. They just need 2 rounds, and they just have to take it, you know, 1 round at a time. They have to read the attack really well and just play very patiently. Because throwing that round that gave Team Puff the 12th was definitely not a mistake that they can afford again. Kunai once again with the miss, but luckily this time he manages to get Doggo after Doggo kills Oro here. Geo manages to get one on Sticky Joe with his ult, so now it's just up to Benny at the back of the site. Benny manages to get one on Bio, but Geo gets one traded on Benny there. So now it's just all down to Nuka, the new blood, and Kudans right here to retake in a 2v3. Ooh, that's a very good bait by Kudans. Looks like he will stay alive here. Question is he going to be expecting a Nuka? And the answer is no. So now it's down to a 2v2. They see that one is in boathouse, but I don't think they're going to be expecting para, and they are gonna have to pick it up right now. Okay, they managed to get one. Okay, they get both of them. The question is, will they have time to defuse this? This is gonna be very close, but I think they're just barely gonna have enough time here. Oh my gosh, what a retake. A 2v3 retake. And Team Pudding once again stays alive, just barely clawing on to this game. But now they are just one round away from overtime. And ladies and gentlemen, that's definitely something that I do want to see in this first game. Now, of course, later today, we are going to have a game between the other two teams, Team Pocky versus Team Pop-Tarts. But right now, we have to just focus on this game because this game does not look like it's going to end anytime soon. I think Team Pudding is definitely capable of bringing this back, but it looks like both teams will have enough for a full buy here. So it's going to depend on how Team Puff takes this. Now, one thing that I do like about Team Puff is how quickly and how decisively they took A before. Ooh, Benny here is going to get, Nuka is going to get a very nice lineup, managing to get 2 on Gio and Oro before being traded out by Kunai, but Para manages to get 1 on Doggo, so now, or Benny rather, so it's now going to be down to a 3v3. Okay, Kudans with the ult there, he manages to get 1. With the blind and the concussion on a bio. Now it's all just down to Kunai to clutch this out, and the answer is no, he can't clutch it out. And Doggo manages to get the killing blow on Kunai, bringing this game to an overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime is definitely what we want to see here, and I am so glad that Team Pudding is able to bring it back to give us this very entertaining game right here. Now, a 12-9 scoreline, or a 13-9 scoreline rather, wouldn't be, the worst. I think Team Pudding can be proud of themselves regardless, but they definitely want the win here. And I think starting off the season right is definitely what all teams are looking forward to do. Now, the only thing that is probably at the back of both teams' minds is that losing this after, fighting tooth and nail is going to be very, very heartbreaking, but they can't worry about that now. Both teams have to believe in their ability to win this out. Okay, so Team Pudding is going to go back on attack, and they are going for the mid push. The question is, are they going to be expecting Para at Pizza? And the answer is no. Para switches his position. Unfortunately, he can't get away fast enough from Kudans. Alright, Nuka manages to get 1 on Oro, and it looks like they are just going to be backing off and going for the A take. Now, Kunai will have an idea of this, and he is calling his teammates to come and support him. Question is he going to wait? And the answer is no, but he manages to get 1 on Nick, and he's just backing off here. So now it's down to a 3v3. Nuka will be in the middle, and he is going for the flank. So now his team just has to buy time for him. Kudans will be waiting down here along with Uyuf, and Gio will be in heaven. He is not going to push the smoke, so this smoke is doing wonders. Sticky Joe manages to get 1. Oh, okay, but after Bio gets 1 kill, Kudans and Nuka will be able to close it out, bringing their team to a lead of 13-12. And this is exactly what Team Pudding was hoping for, was expecting ever since they started that comeback from 12-9. And as Team Puff throwing a 12-9 lead and losing in overtime must be really, really heartbreaking. So we just have to hope that they can bring it back here. Of course, their attack rounds were really successful just now, and despite the lack of attacking rounds that they got during the normal game, before the overtime, the rounds that they got the attack points on looked pretty clean. So I have no doubt that they will be able to take this one. Gio will be the first one to peek. It looks like he won't be finding anything there. And Kunai looked mid again, but he won't be able to find Doggo. It looks like Doggo this time around will not be pushing. He will be peeking now, and he's not going to see anything. And this will make Team Pudding think that this is still going to be an A push. Doggo managed to get 1 before getting traded by Geo. So that's a good trade by Geo, and that's definitely a necessary trade. Stopping Doggo is definitely something that Team Puff has to do. Okay. Benny gets away by with killing Oro there. So that's a very, very good pick from Nick, bringing it down to a 3v4. And now as a defensive team, they just have to play safe here. But with that being said, Kunai and Geo is still alive. Bio is still there for the post plant. So this is by far, this is still far from over. And Team Pudding is going on a very fast rotate. Now, Kunai has been pretty unfortunate with his timing there. He didn't manage to catch Nuka, but Geo might be able to get something here. And the answer is no. Kudans and Sticky Geo managed to get 1 on Geo and Kunai. So now it's all down to Bio to clutch this out. But this is going to be a 1v4. Bio will not be able to get it. So Team Pudding will come out ahead in the first game of the CVL. GG to Team Pudding. And this comeback, a 5-round comeback from them at the end, is just very, very clutch. And Team Puff will be shaking their heads there. A win that was so close just got out of their grasp.